This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. We're down here, Fight Camp Week 3. Delighted to be joined by a couple of very special guests here in the media room with me, Wayne Smith and Pat Barrett. First and foremost, guys, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much for having us on.
I'm very good, thanks.
Lovely, good to hear. Let's talk about why we're here first. Zelfa Barrett is back in action. Fight Camp Week 3 tomorrow night. Zelfa, as I understand, hasn't had much notice for this fight, but he is going to be back. So, Pat, can you just tell me a bit about how this fight came about and how long he's known about it as well?
Well, he's not known about it long, but he's known that he's meant to be fighting. He should have been fighting in Mexico. But Mexico obviously went in the red with this, the lockdown thing, and so he couldn't fight in Mexico. And he got a message off Eddie saying, or off his manager, Steve Woods, asking him, does he want to fight? And this, so he said, yeah, because he's been in training anyway, so.
Viral Simeon, who he's going to be fighting, he's fought the likes of Shakur Stevenson, he's fought the likes of Scott Quigg as well, I can remember. What do you make of him as a fighter, and how do you expect it to gel with Zelfa on Saturday night?
I know what, I know it's going to be a tough fight for Zelfa because he's had the experience, he's been in the ring with good operators, but Zelfa's obviously, he's on the way up there, he's on that level, and we'll know how to deal with the situation on the night.
Wayne, just to come to you on that, I'm sure you've seen some of Viral as well. Do you sort of echo Pat's words there? What kind of fight are you expecting for Zelfa?
Yeah, just echo exactly what he just said. His experience, his self as a super feather, as we know, this is heavier. But he must have had short notice as well, so I'm expecting a good performance from Zelfa.
Now, last time Zelfa was at Fight Camp, it was an emphatic knockout win. It was one of the best knockouts of the whole sort of Fight Camp, whole season one, if that's what you want to call it. To get a stoppage win on Saturday night, would that be a nice little exclamation mark before going on to potentially the Kiko rematch later in the year?
No, it's not even about the stoppage, it's about the performance. As long as he performs well and, he does everything what's expected of him, then, the stoppage is a bonus. But to me, sometimes he also needs a round as well because he's been out the ring for so long.
Just to touch on what awaits Zelfa for the rest of the year, I mentioned it there. Eddie seemed keen to make the Kiko Martinez rematch later in the year. He's also spoken about Joe Cordina and a potential final eliminator for a world title. What do you see being the top priority going at the back end of the year, though?
Whatever comes, really. We prepare for whatever comes, and it's not about what we choose and what we want. It's about what's going to take us a step closer to where we want to get.
Wayne, I'll start with you on this next one. Zelfa, condolences to him and his whole family. He's obviously had a very difficult time of late, losing his mother. It's something I spoke to Lyndon about before. What does it say about Zelfa Barrett that he's here and he's fighting this weekend and he's processed it so maturely?
Well, tell you the truth, it just shows the character of him. To a lot of other people would be like more in mourning and maybe excuses and whatnot, but it just shows the character of who he is, and he's fighting on for his family and his mother. So he's got the tattoo now on his chest of his mum, Sonia. And she wouldn't want him to start lounging about and laying about, so she would just want him to get on and carry on what he's doing. And she's with him all the time, so, that's why Zelfa's character is, he'll show us Saturday night, and he'll prove he'll make his mum proud, no doubt.
Pat, what Wayne said there is something I noticed Zelfa had said in his interview with Matchroom, that his mum wouldn't have wanted him to have sulked or to take time away. She'd want him to carry on. You said there he's now got the tattoo across the chest. Is that extra motivation for him to carry forward throughout the rest of his career, to do her proud and to go on to achieve what he wants to as well?
Yeah, of course it is. It goes without saying that, really. It's the same as what she would have wanted him to do if she was here. So nothing's really going to change in that matter. It's what he's got to do, regardless of what this is his path, this is what he chose to go down, and this is what he's got to do. Like he said, he's had the time out, the wounds have healed, and it's just time to go move forward now.
I wanted to ask about Lyndon Arthur. I spoke to him before. We saw Frank put out the press release a couple of weeks ago saying he wants to make Arthur-Yarde 2 on the same night as Fury Wilder 3. We're still awaiting official confirmation. Has there been any movement on that at all, Pat?
Not really, no. Obviously with this fight, we want the best for Lyndon, and we want to make the fight, where it could be, possibly Manchester. That's where we're looking for it. So, if it's going to be on that night, it'll be on that night, and let's just see what happens.
I think after the first fight, particularly the fact it was in London where Arthur-Yarde's from, he's earned that right going back in there, that the fight should really be in his backyard this time?
Oh, 100%, 100%. I mean, look, you know, it's like Lyndon's earned the right to have a look. We've had a lot of big fights in Manchester. We've had Anthony Crawler, we've had Ricky Hatton. Manchester's a boxing city, and now to have Lyndon headlining such a big undercard at the MEN or something like that. I mean, it would be great. It really would be spectacular to have. But you know, again, let's just leave it down to the promotional team, see what they do. But yeah, hopefully it's going to be Manchester, and it'll be something great.
Wayne, come to you on this one. When you know the rematch was first banded about, Lyndon was very public with the fact he didn't feel he had that point to prove again. He's now, when I spoke to him earlier, he seems to have accepted the fight that will happen, and he's fully focused on that now. Can you see him producing an even more emphatic win this time around, now that he's locked in on that fight?
Yeah, obviously he won the fight pretty easy, didn't he? And he went in there as the champion. So really, obviously the rematch is happening because of certain things, but he's got nothing to prove, Lyndon, has he really? But I think he'll go out there and he'll do a better performance with two hands this time, especially if it's in Manchester. So I'm sick of talking about this rematch, to tell you the truth, but I know you have to ask these questions, but we'll see the outcome of if and when it does happen. You know?
Let me just say something. I mean, the rematch, see, you've got to forget about the first fight. I mean, we'll be talking about the first fight. The first fight now doesn't exist, okay? This is a new thing now, because what he did do the first time, he defended his Commonwealth title, yeah, and the WBO, yeah, was vacant. Yeah, so now he's WBO Intercontinental. There's no more Commonwealth. Okay, so we're moving forward now. What he's done now is just defended against David Ferracci, and a good prospect, undefeated, Italian champion, and disposed of him. That's one step. I want the rematch. Before we didn't want the rematch because we thought it was a backward step, but it's not a backward step, because if you can't beat the likes of Arthur-Yarde again, then he shouldn't be asking for the world title fight. That's the way I see it, right? Even though they've had the world title fight. So yeah, we want the rematch. It's just as good as anything, because it's another notch to say, a step closer to say we're ready for the world title fight. And this is how we get tested, okay? And that's what we're doing. We've done the Commonwealth. Now we're moving on to another title, and the next step after that will be a world title. So it's all about experience and learning. So we're not going to overlook what we did the first time, because this time round we're going to get a better Arthur-Yarde. This time round, Arthur-Yarde has got nothing to lose but everything to gain. So he's going to be throwing out everything at it. And that's the same way how we feel. We've got everything to lose and much more to gain. So there's no way we're going to, throw it away. We're going to treat Arthur-Yarde with the greatest of respect, and however it is, we're going to prepare for this like this is our world title fight. It's that simple.
Guys, there's another big light heavyweight fight tomorrow night. Obviously, topping fight count week 3. We've got Joshua Buatsi and Ricard Bolotniks. We saw Bolotniks could do in that golden contract tournament. When I'll come to you first, a terrific fight, a perfect fight for us to see where Joshua Buatsi's at, ahead of his potential world title push.
Yeah, that's a great fight. Looking forward to it, tell you the truth. He's a dangerous opponent. We were talking about it earlier on, but hopefully Buatsi comes through it unscathed and gets a good win.
Pat, we saw Ricard Bolotnik say yesterday he wants this to be a street fight. We know Joshua Buatsi's got incredible boxing skills, but we've also seen he likes to trade at times, and perhaps a bit too much for his corner's liking. Do you think under Virgil Hunter that we will see those boxing skills, particularly tomorrow night against someone like Ricard Bolotnik?
I think Buatsi's one of them kind of disciplined fighters that listens to what he's been told, and works with his coach very well. They make a very good team. And I think, last time we seen him, he wasn't happy with his performance. And I think this time around, we'll see him again, and he's up against a better opposition, and I think he'll box a lot better than what he did, so he doesn't need to have a street fight, because he's an intelligent fighter.
Are you also kind of watching this from the perspective that with Joshua Buatsi and the likes of Lyndon Arthur, we've got all these brilliant British light heavyweights? Will you be watching tomorrow night thinking this is a potential fight we could be involved in down the line? That would be a huge fight down the line for British boxing, surely.
Of course it will, but I mean, I'm not watching it for that. Like I said, my only intention now is for what we've got coming on, and which is Arthur-Yarde, and good luck to Buatsi. I mean, I hope he does a really good job, and which he will do actually, because I like Buatsi, I like his style, and believe it or not, Lyndon and Buatsi have met before in the amateurs. You know what I mean? So, it would be a great fight in the future, but at the moment, yeah, it's not there, so we're not even thinking about it.
And before I let you guys go, I know you guys always keep them very busy. We're seeing the Blacklash promotion stuff on our Instagram and stuff like that. Can you just tell me a bit about what's coming up and what we can expect as well in the next few months?
Oh, we're in Liverpool at the Grand Central next, and then we're also going to be in Newcastle, well, just outside of Newcastle, North East, on the 9th of October.
Wayne, is there anything else you'd like to add? What should we be looking forward to and be excited for coming up?
Yeah, it's the 4th of October. We've got a great bill at the Grand Central, Liverpool. So, with boxing being back, crowds being back, so it's great. The last 2 shows have been like unbelievable, really. Like the first one at Victoria Warehouse, everyone come out. You know, it was the lockdown is not long open, so it was like a great night to boxing. The week later, in Liverpool, it was the venue was actually too small because it was just like it was just a great night for everyone concerned, and some great contests. So I'm looking forward to the 4th. I've got Marcel Braithwaite back in action then, so he'll be looking towards titles after he gets that win. So all the super flyweights better watch out because Marcel's coming back.
Wayne, one final one before I let you guys go. I just remembered I bumped into you in Liverpool, obviously at the press conference for a huge fight coming up for Liverpool, Liam Smith and Anthony Fowler. We started to see a little bit of needle there. We saw Liam Smith sort of give him the snub on the handshake and stuff like that. Big fight for the city. What is going to be the key here? How can you separate these 2 fighters at this point?
Well, I know Anthony Fowler really well because he's from the Golden Gloves, my gym. And the way I see it is, obviously Smith's fought at a higher level. He's boxed at world level. And Anthony Fowler's got nothing to lose. It's a win-win fight for him because he's not domestically, hasn't won nothing domestically. He's disciplined on the Shane now, is different. It's going to be it's a hard fight, and it's a big ask for him, but, you know, he can do it. You know, Shea believes he can do it all. It's going to be a great night for Liverpool. But Liam Smith is a different level. He is, you know, credit where it's due. He's a top class performer, and you all know that because the likes of the people he's been in with. So it's a big ask, but, you know, good luck, Anthony Fowler.
And yesterday in Birmingham, I was there. We've got the rematch between Idris Ahmed and Casey Kadimi for the British title now. You mentioned that Marcel Braithwaite's keeping around. You told the British super flyweights to keep an eye out. Is that a potential fight for him, the winner of that?
Marcel would jump at the both of them. You know, you got to look at Marcel is like, he's one of them fighters he's come up the hard way. He's been on the Black Flash shows all the way. He's had no luck. He's them like contracts or signing. He boxed Sonny Edwards at a drop of the hat when nobody else would touch Sonny. Sonny's now a world champion. Then straight after that, he boxed Jay Harris. So he wouldn't say no to a fight, any fight. So you've got 2 world-class fighters who he's boxed back-to-back. So Marcel now will take over domestically. He's had some great sparring with the likes of Dennis McCann, Cash Farouk. Yeah, just them 2 just alone. Even Sonny, he was down with Sonny, getting him ready for his world title. So his levels, he's changed completely with them learning fights he have with all them like journeymen and whatnot. He's boxed world level. So I believe in my soul that he can beat the likes of Kademi and Azim or whatever his name is. Yeah.
Well, guys, I appreciate your time. It is the day before the fight, so I'll leave you be now and you can be on your way. But thank you as always for making time for Boxing Social. I'm sure I'll catch you very soon.